Hey guys, Shadney back with another process video for my Stamping Sunday series, where today I'm going to be showing you the process for a layout using all Stampin' Up! Products. And this photo I love of India. She was in the middle of throwing a snowball right at me. So, I just love, she's got her tongue all curled up and she was so excited. It's just the cutest picture. So, I printed it at 5x7 because I wanted you to be able to see all the details. You could see like flakes of snow and her tongue and like her little rosy cheeks. So printed at 5x7, trimmed it down, and then I'm just adhering it to a piece of white cardstock. It's Whisper White, just to give it a nice little thin border, like a little bit bigger than 1/8 of an inch, I think, all the way around. And then I pulled out a couple pieces of paper. I pulled out a black and white pattern paper from the Golden Honey Specialty Designer Series paper, which is from the, sorry, my brain's blanking, from the Celebration mini catalog thing, the little flyer. So it's one of the things that if you spent $50, you could get that for free. And it's got a lot of really cute paper, but I just love the simple black and white for a background. And then I pulled out a sheet of Pretty Peacock, which is that darker teal color, and then a sheet of Pool Party, which is the lighter blue color. So now I've taken that Pretty Peacock and cut it into a strip just a little bit wider than the photo. And then I'm cutting the Pool Party into a piece that's a little bit taller than the photo, and then probably about 10 inches wide. And then I'm gonna put the paper, sorry, my tongue. I'm going to put the picture over the Pool Party color. There's a lot of P words. The picture over the Pool Party, and then I'm going to layer the Pretty Peacock behind. And I've taken and cut a fishtail banner in the bottom of that Pretty Peacock sheet, and then lined it up and trimmed it down so that it's just a little bit wider than that Pool Party sheet. Then I also pulled out a sheet. I'm sorry, I'm talking a little behind the video. I pulled out a piece of the vellum, which if you haven't used Stampin' Up! Vellum, it's really nice and thick and smooth. I really, really like it. But it's still just as see-through as like the really cheap thin stuff from Hobby Lobby. So I've cut that into like about a 4-inch strip across. And then that's going to be layered behind the photo, but above the Pool Party. And then I'm also taken the scrap of the Pool Party and I took a 1-inch circle punch and punched out a bunch of circles. I think there's 10. And then I'm just going to adhere them to the back of the bottom of the Pool Party piece on the back side. Sorry. So then I am adhering them down now. And I marked about 1/2 inch up with my ruler with just a pencil so that they would be uniform all the way across. And then I marked the middle and started in the middle and worked out so that they would be even across that way. And I spaced them out just ever so slightly just because I didn't get it exactly to 10 inches, but you could just do them across and then trim off the excess if you wanted to. My brain wasn't that far ahead that day, so I didn't do that. And then some of my adhesive is still showing. It's still really sticky, and I don't want it to stick when I'm sewing it in the machine. So I've taken and just cut like about a 1/4 inch strip of cardstock and then covering where the adhesive was. So now I'm showing you where I've just taken and done a straight stitch across on my sewing machine. It just adds a little extra detail and secures those circles to make that little scallop border. So now I'm going to go ahead and pull out some Stampin' Dimensionals, just the regular size, and I'm adding them across the back of the photo to adhere it on. If you haven't used Stampin' Dimensionals, they are super, super sticky, so you don't really need a lot to adhere it down. You just need enough so that your photo doesn't sag. And thankfully they're fairly thin, so they give you some dimension, but they don't stand up so high that they do sag a lot or will make like a big crease or anything like that. So that's great. So I'm adhering my photo, and you might have seen I used the snail tape runner to add just a little bit of adhesive where to the back of the vellum where the photo will cover it. So that'll help that adhere down as well. So now I'm going on the back of the pool party piece and adding more Stampin' Dimensionals. And I use the, like, around the edges, the extra, like the extra packaging, I use those as well, because why waste it and why waste money and just throw them away when they're actually really helpful and useful and great. So I just use those as parts on the back to hold. And then I'm going to do snail across that pretty peacock banner to help that stick as well. And then just adhere it down to my paper. There we go. And it's all ready, or all done. So now I'm going to pull out these lined alphabet stamps, and they just are, I mean, they're good size, a little over an inch, like maybe an inch and a quarter height letters. And I really like, because you could stamp them directly on your page. You can stamp them like what I'm doing. I'm stamping them and then going to fussy cut all the letters out so I can use them more like stickers. You could stamp them directly on your page and like watercolor them or color them in with your Stampin' blends, or just cut them out. I've also seen with, not with Stampin' Up, but with another brand of, sorry, my brain's like not, my mouth's not moving as fast as my brain's going. So I've seen with another scrapbooker where she's taken with a different line of line stamps, and when she stamped it and then embroidered over, so you don't even see the line, but then you get these nice embroidered letters. So that could be really cool as well. So they're pretty versatile, and then you can use them to coordinate with any page you have. And these I'm just doing on white. I'll add a little bit of extra in a minute. You'll see what I do to them. But for now, I just cut the whole title. I stamped and cut it out, fussy cut it. And then I'm just laying them out because I'm not sure exactly where I want them on the page with everything else. So then I'm also going to pull out the Make a Difference alphabet stamp set. And these have a cursive like script font and uppercase and lowercase, and then it has a little tiny just regular block kind of font, and I'm going to use those. I bought, these are not Stampin' Up, these are something I got on Amazon, but they're little 1/2 inch epoxy sticker dots. So what I'm going to do is stamp each letter individually on white cardstock, punch it from with a 1/2 inch circle punch, and then use the 1/2 inch epoxy dots to go over it. So it gives a different kind of look. And you might be able to do this with the, hold on, I'll pull it out, what it's called. The fine tip glue pen, I think that you can use to do the same kind of domed effect. But these were easy because it's already done and I didn't have to wait for anything to dry. Then I pulled out the Thoughtful Blooms stamp set, which is another celebration stamp set that if you spend $50, you get it for free. And then there's this bit that's like flourishes that you're supposed to be able to like stamp a flower and then stamp this and layer the flower over it, but I'm just stamping it on the pool party page behind the vellum, so it's still light and you don't see a lot of it, but you get that effect. And then I'm going to stick something in the middle of it in a minute. So I went ahead and stamped that, and then now what I'm going to do, I'm going to jazz up these letters just a little bit. I wanted them to have a little bit more interest and something to go along with the page, but not be too overwhelming. So I just took the Tombow Mono and did a little bit of wet glue across the bottom of each letter, and then dipped it in the Dazzling Diamonds glitter. And then it gives it kind of the effect like it's snow across the bottom of each letter. And it just gives it a little bit of sparkle and a little bit more interest than just the plain white letters. I originally was thinking about watercoloring them, but I don't know. I came up with this idea. I thought that was better, and it kind of mimicked the snow and just gave it a little bit more sparkle on the page. So there we go, and we'll fast forward so you don't have to watch that whole thing. And then I'm using the mini dimensionals to add little foam dots behind the back of each letter, and then peeling off and adhering them down. And I'm starting with the in and working backwards and then working up so that everything lines up right adjacent to the photo. And then we'll fast forward so you don't have to watch the whole thing. Those are all adhered. And then I've got these little, it says Snowday. And I'm not sure, I'm just trying to play with it to figure out where I want those letters to be. And then I ended up deciding up there at the top is great. And then I'm going to use Stampin' Dimensionals to adhere those as well, just to give it a little bit more texture and just to make sure they stick really well. And then I'm pulling out the Colorful Seasons stamp set. And I thought I was going to do some snowflakes, but I didn't end up using them. But I think I'm going to be using, I'm going to be using them so much for the frozen photos that I'm going to be doing soon. So I didn't want to overkill, but I liked this You Make Me Smile sentiment. So I went ahead and pulled that out, and then I'm going to stamp it with Stays On. Sorry, you got a nice little clip of my really frizzy hair. I'm going to stamp it with Stays on the vellum so that it'll dry and won't smudge or anything. It'll dry really quickly. And then I'm going to, I also have some of those epoxy dots in a 1-inch. I'm going to pull out those tiny letters from the Make a Difference stamp set again and do the year, stamp it on white, and then punch it with my 1-inch circle punch and adhere that, an epoxy dot over the top of that. So it makes it look kind of like a little flare badge. And I'm just using the Memento black ink and stamping it. And this would be great because you can make little like kind of flare badges with any of the special Stampin' Up colors like cardstock or stamps or anything like that. And it just gives it a little bit of a different texture and dimension. So then I am adhering the circle down, and then I'm going to adhere it to the layout with Stampin' Dimensionals. And I think I used 3 little mini ones on this one. I can't see right now. So there we go, and just adhere that down. And then I'm going to pull out the Tombow Mono, and I lift that vellum up because it's not adhered, and just added a little bit behind where all of the letters and the little flare badge is so that it stays, you can't see it through the vellum, but then it still adheres down better. And then I'm pulling out these little heart epoxy droplets, which are Stampin' Up. They're clear, but they give just a little bit of, like you can see it when you look at the layout, it's just a little soft, subtle touch. And then I'm pulling out the Woven Thread Sequin Assortment, which coordinates with the in colors for 2019 to 2021. So it matches that Pretty Peacock, Coastal Cabana, Terracotta Tile, Seaside Spray, and Rococo Rose, I believe is what the other one is called. It coordinates with that. And I don't know why I was having issues with the sequins. They were kind of sticking together and not sticking to the glue. It was like kind of a mess. So I'll only mess with it for a few minutes, and then I'll fast forward and let you just see the finished, where all the sequins are already adhered down. And then I'll go in with just a black pen and fill in my journaling across the top there. So, and then that's it for this whole layout. It came together pretty quickly. The fussy cutting is what took the longest, but for the most part, it came together pretty quickly. I love how it's really clean looking, but there's still a lot of interest to the page, so it's nice. So that's it. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope y'all have a wonderful day. If you like this video, please hit like, leave a comment if you have any questions or have anything to say. I would love to get any comments that you have to say, and then hit subscribe if you want to see more videos. Also, if you look down in the description bin, I mean, not bin, in the description box, I will add links to all of these products if you're interested in anything, or if you have any questions or anything, just leave me a comment. Thank you. Have a wonderful day and happy scrapping. Bye.